Welcome back. In North Africa, Egypt's Interior Ministry says suspected militants have killed 3 police officers and wounded 5 others in an attack in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. The assailants, riding in 2 vehicles, opened fire on a security convoy on the main ring road in the Nasser city area. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack. However, jihadist militants have killed hundreds of police and soldiers since the military overthrew Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in 2013. Last month, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi declared a state of emergency after at least 45 people were killed in suicide attacks on 2 Coptic Christian churches in Tanta and Alexandria. The Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack through its local affiliate. In West Africa, top cocoa producers Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are struggling with low global cocoa prices. Prices have plummeted since last year on the back of bumper crops around the world and stagnant demand. However, industry players hope the International Cocoa Organization's recent relocation to Abidjan will help stabilize the market. The ICCO has been based in London since it was founded in 1973.
Ghana, the world's #2 cocoa producer, has missed out on nearly $1 billion in export earnings due to a steep decline in global cocoa prices. This is according to figures from Ghana's Cocoa Board. Cocoa futures have plummeted since last year on the back of bumper crops around the world and stagnant demand. Ivory Coast has also been affected. The government had to slash its 2017 budget due to the falling cocoa prices.
By the nature of the political economy, if prices come down, it is difficult to pass on the decreases in prices to the farmers, particularly when you also have a policy that you want to still encourage farmers to grow more cocoa and improve upon their yields and therefore the total production within the economy. So because Cocoa Board is acting like a buffer, or if you like, government is acting like a buffer, and when the prices come down and the prices that the farmers are getting is fixed, then that difference will have to be absorbed by the state.
Ghana's Cocoa Board said the country is on track to exceed its revised 800,000-ton target for cocoa production this season due to good rains this year. The government of President Nana Akufo-Addo, inaugurated in January, has vowed to clean up the cocoa sector and raise output to 1 million tons by the end of its first 4-year term. But concerns remain about the impact of the current global price drop on operations, and analysts say a lot needs to be done to improve efficiency and curb overproduction.
La baisse conséquente des prix aux producteurs.
The consequent decline in producer prices and threats to the consolidation of cocoa orchards in our states at the time when other crops are experiencing a notable improvement is a matter of careful consideration.
About 80 kilometers from Abidjan, these farmers in Aguaville, Ivory Coast, say they're struggling with the effects of a glut. Early in the year, cocoa piled up at ports for weeks and was left to rot on trees as exporters, having wrongly speculated that world cocoa prices would rise, declined to purchase beans to fill unprofitable contracts. The International Cocoa Organization has officially moved its headquarters from London to Abidjan, the commercial capital of Ivory Coast, following an improvement in the security situation in the world's top producer. The intergovernmental body, which has been based in London since its founding in 1973, originally sought to stabilize global prices through operating buffer stocks, but has more recently provided statistical data and supported projects to develop cocoa production and trade.
The Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has defended his 3-decade stay in office in an interview with the international news station Al Jazeera. President Museveni dismissed those calling him a dictator, saying that he must be a wonderful dictator to have been voted into office 5 times. He also discussed the jailings of activist Della Nyanzi, who is being held in custody for calling him derogatory names, saying that she had no right to abuse others. President Museveni, however, refused to be drawn to discussing last year's fighting in the western region of Kasese, where security forces clashed with guards of a local king, leaving dozens killed and many arrested. According to Mr. Museveni, the issue is in court, and when something is in court, he is not allowed to comment on it. Finally on the program, comic book and science fiction fans and creators from around the world were in Cape Town over the weekend for the second edition of the city's Comic-Con. The event is inspired by the International Comic-Con, first held in 1970 in Southern California, as a platform to bring together different entertainment platforms with their followers in one place. Hundreds of similar events have been held around the world since then.
Cape Town's Comic-Con offers a unique opportunity for fans and illustrators from across Africa to be seen and to interact and rediscover the art as it emerges from a new depth on the continent, breaking away from a long history of Western comic superheroes like Superman and Batman. Creators here are offering stories based on African characters and culture.
The idea is really, there's a lot of good guys out there doing things, but the thing is for us to connect them. But I think it's events like these where the guys will notice that there is scope for them to do something. There's a market for them. There's a fan base out there that would love to hear what's happening, especially with our African mythology, the stories out of Africa. There's beautiful things that can be told.
South African Loyiso Mkhize was one of the artists drawing appreciation at Cape Town's Comic-Con this year. The South African fine artist and designer has been working with the long-running soccer-themed comic series Super Strikers. He recently launched his own project, which publishes Kwezi Xhosa and Zulu for Star. It is a series about a self-absorbed 19-year-old learning to use his newfound superpowers for good.
One of the key factors in my work is developing an African identity, well fit for the 21st century. I mean, the contemporary South African is very different to what we might, consider to be, part of the modern world. And there's so many great stories that we haven't told of ourselves and our cultures. And superimposing those factors into a superhero genre just felt so great, and such a powerful statement that creating South Africa's first superhero seemed like such a tantalizing idea.
The gathering also attracted international players like US-based Top Cow President and COO Matt Hawkins, who spoke to a room full of budding artists and fans and expressed interest in penetrating the African market.
That's Network Africa. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Joshua Rogers.